Rachel, I really appreciate you hanging out with me on the podcast today.
Me too.
I learned a lot of stuff about therapy that I didn't know, because I think it is this like world that, I don't know, it's just not like the mainstream. I mean, maybe it's just me.
And people keep it quiet.
Yeah.
They don't always talk about their therapist appointments.
Yeah, true, right? I mean, we talked about that in the episode. Why did you become a therapist?
Oh, well, I didn't know. I wasn't sure I wanted to be a therapist when I first started going to school. I just knew I loved people. I wanted to learn about people. I wanted to help them somehow. I started with a degree in communication because I just wanted to learn how to communicate better.
Was that
or how to help people communicate.
So you had like a couple different things. I mean, you know, the other thing I'd like to find out is, if you weren't a therapist, what would you be?
Oh gosh.
And what's the because don't you think people have like a couple different things in them that they could be or could do? Or did you ever?
That was my first.
Multi passions. That
was my first idea, was to go to corporate, settings and teach them how to communicate. That would be probably what I'd be doing if I weren't doing individual therapy.
Okay.
It's like traveling and teaching people about communication.
Well, I can see that would
not
be
so far
fulfilling too. I mean, kind of a different type of animal, right?
Or, I mean, is everybody's dream to be like a food critic, a food taster?
You're right. Somebody has
Traveling.
to cook the food, right?
Yeah.
Or like, do the work, I guess. Do different work.
That would be my dream job.
To be a food critic? Or a food...
Just like sample your food. I'll go fly to different places and try all the food. On
camera for like a show? Or
no.
Just... So would you describe yourself as a foodie? Are you into food?
Yeah.
Do you cook?
I cook because I have to make food for my family and for myself.
But I'm not like a chef. Are you a flamboyant cook?
No.
You don't try new things. You don't have these.
No, I have like my things I make.
Eat the good food. You don't necessarily want to make it.
Yeah, I just want to eat it. I want someone else to make it for me. I'm not. Hey, I don't get my joy from cooking.
I'm all about that too.
Really.
I used to cook a little bit, but I don't enjoy cooking.
Yeah.
I enjoy eating good food.
Yes, me too.
Some people enjoy eating or making that good food.
Yeah.
That's the thrill of it, creating, and they're like, I could care less about eating it.
I admire people like that so much. My best friend was like that. My husband's like that. He likes to cook, and then they throw together something really good. And it's like, gosh, you just created art. It is art. People will have this like chef thing going on. Yeah. I very much wish that I had the superpowers of liking to cook or liking to clean, but I don't have either of those.
That's a rare superpower,
Yeah.
I don't know. Some people, like get into that, but
yeah,
I love it. So,
look, is there a wedding? Oh, there is a wedding.
That's a great spot for a wedding.
Oh, that's so pretty.
And it's a perfect day for a wedding, too.
Oh, man, it is the perfect day.
I mean, talk about this, everything's green from all this rain.
Yes, it's so nice. It's like 70 degrees today.
I love it.
Perfect temperature.
This is when Boise is like at its best, right? It's super nice.
Yes. I know, this is so cool for me because I grew up in southern Arizona where we didn't really have seasons. We definitely didn't have blooming trees and plants and grass, and we didn't have trees in the fall that turn colors. So this is just cool.
Is it dry, super dry and arid there?
Yes.
Is that?
Yeah.
Well, how many seasons are there? There's
like
hot
summertime.
Yeah. Is that what it is?
Yeah, pretty much. In the wintertime, it gets to be like this.
This is wintertime.
Without all the beautiful flowers and.
Because you still have dryness.
Yeah. And
you were born and raised in it.
Yeah, in Tucson, Arizona, and I love it there. It's a cool place. It's just hot. Yeah, it's really hot. You go swimming.
You'd probably adapt. I mean, you'll swimming a lot.
Yeah. You go to the movies, you go to the mall, and you go swimming in the summertime. Just you do things that are nice and air conditioned or cool.
So you just like adapt. Well, it's kind of like Vegas life too. You stay inside.
Yep.
There's like whole little environments and ecosystems inside, right?
Yeah, Vegas weather is real similar to Tucson weather. Mm-hmm. Hot kind of all the time.
Yeah, and I've been there when it's super hot and it is not pleasant.
Yeah, I kind of like that though.
You do?
Yeah, when it like today I was sitting out in the sun.
There are people that dig it.
Yes. Yeah, I love it. I want to feel heat on my skin.
There are people that are into it.
Yes.
But you like it here, this kind of 4 season type style.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Yes. There's something to be said for it. I mean, it is. It's nice to have the change. Mm-hmm. It gives you like, new perspective and new everything. I love it too.
Yeah. And after I lived in Tucson, I lived in Hawaii where there's even less of a change in the weather from season to season. And so you would, the funny thing about that was you would kind of lose track of like, when did that happen? Like you would lose track of time. The years just all blended together.
Really? So everything's the same. There's no change.
Yeah, there was nothing to.
They say, "Oh, this it happened in the winter."
Oh, I know that was at Christmas time because we were wearing jackets that day, and it was a snowstorm, or
But every day is the same.
Yeah, it's all kind of the same, and it was so beautiful. And there were a lot of people there who said, "I miss the seasons," especially like military people who were stationed there. Kind of, they didn't have a choice in it,
even though it's paradise. But they're still,
they really miss the seasons.
For that.
I didn't quite get it because I had never really experienced seasons, but now that I live here, I love it. I love the season so much.
We are fortunate. Well, and a lot of people are moving into Boise. We have a really great thing going on here. Such a great.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to pretend like it's really bad here, right?
Oh,
and don't.
Right, yeah, it sucks here.
It is.
Right?
So
there's nothing
here.
good going on.
I love it.
I think the secret's out.
I think so. I know it's what #1 best place ever, always, all the time. I mean, on every list.
People are just moving here by the droves.
Yeah,
but
I can see why.
We have a great little community here.
Yeah.
We really do.
My husband brought me here, so I sometimes feel like I have to tell people that so that they don't think I infiltrated their town.
So you were like,
I was married to a local Nampa. He's from Nampa.
Oh, he really is.
Yeah.
You were forced to come here then, so to speak.
Well, I wouldn't say forced.
Yeah,
he's got his whole family here.
Oh, really?
And it's such a great place to raise kids.
It is.
So we moved here and we're raising our kids here. There's always something going on.
Yeah.
Anytime it's like, what should we do? We went to a really cool fundraiser the other day because they're. Oh shoot, I'm gonna forget the name of it. It was, what's the name of it? It was to help adults with disabilities to become baristas, to learn how to do coffee.
Oh, specific name?
Yeah.
Really?
It was really cool. And so we went to a place in Hyde Park, a coffee shop in Hyde Park.
Hyde Park?
Yeah, Hyde Park.
I love that little place.
How could I forget the name? And it was, is that where? No, it wasn't Hyde Park. It was Java. It was the Java place.
Yeah, of course, the Java place. Yeah, there's two. I keep forgetting that there's two there.
And it was great, and there was live music, and they were selling mugs, and little handmade ceramic mugs that were beautiful, and
in support of this.
In support of that organization.
That's a great idea.
It was really, really cool. It was neat. I'll find the name for you so you can put it on your site, because it was a cool organization and the people were so nice. And
how did you come across that?
I just looked it up. We were out and about, and it was like, what should we do tonight? And so we just looked up like local events, and there's always something going on. And so there's a whole list, and I thought that sounded really cool. Had a good cause and coffee.
And I'm sure it was packed inside of there. I mean, lots of people.
Yeah, there were people there. It was fun. We got there at the very tail end, so we kind of got to see the artist who was singing, and we got to buy a mug, and it was really cool. There was a woman singing and a guy playing the guitar and piano with her, and she had a beautiful voice, and I bought her CD because she was so good. Yeah.
That's the thing when you go out to see these artists. Well, just like Mark and Jenny's thing with those great artists.
Yes. They were so good.
He's super talented. And,
oh my gosh,
There's so much talent out there, doing their thing, and it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, there's like someone doing a singing or a dancing. Super talented.
And it's like for $12, I get like this great piece of music that is brand new to the world and supporting this local girl. And she was like a young girl. She was so beautiful and good, and her voice was amazing. It was really fun.
Yeah, we're fortunate.
Yeah, and then you can leave going, well, that was very fulfilling. I feel so happy.
Your cup up, right? You're like inspiring.
It literally filled my cup up because I bought a cup, and then they filled it up with a latte or with coffee.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, it was really neat.
I love it. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed you sharing the things that you shared about, couples therapy, bringing it more mainstream, to removing some of the fear that people think about, and talking about how to find a therapist.
Yeah.
To fit.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, that's one of the things I think about, like what will happen. And I think that, when you're ready for it, you go walk through the door anyway, right? When you're ready to do the thing, you do the work, you're like, I'll go here, even though there's a lot of unknowns. Because I think sometimes the unknowns can be a little bit of a barrier.
Oh, yeah.
But just now that sharing how it's done,
Yep. When I just started with the therapist that I'm seeing now, I started with her about a year ago. And it was like the day that my appointment was scheduled, I was nervous all day long. And I've been doing therapy for so long. Like, I've been doing therapy for so long. I've had a therapist in the past that I loved. I had a great...
in that sphere, and you were still a little
And I was still like, man, this is such a good reminder of just how hard this is for a lot of people to come in. And of course, the first session was like, I kind of let it all out. And then, oh man, I felt so much better. And I see her regularly, like every other week.
It was a good fit.
It was a good fit. She's so great.
Well, you probably have, I mean, that's the thing. It's like the mechanic knows where to take their car for this or that. The therapist knows. You have access to the knowledge and like hear things about this person, that person, what's good. What's good fit. So
someone recommended me.
Sure.
Recommended her to me. So it was like, okay, kind of felt good about going to her. But
that's awesome.
She's great. Well, and so different from my previous therapist. So totally different approach.
She had a
Both
different approach.
Good.
Really? And so you got value from the previous one and from this one.
Yes. So it doesn't have to be a certain type of therapy. It kind of is, like I'm in a different place now than I was 10 years ago.
People.
Yeah.
And that's a good question. Do people graduate therapists? Like,
oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You mean like kind of end?
Like you said, and or transition to a different style of therapist or whatever?
Yep. Yes. I think the goal, sometimes we kind of joke that like our goal is to put ourselves out of work, is to help people not need us anymore. So ideally, you meet with someone for a period of time and then they're done, that they have developed the skills or they've kind of found the insight that they needed, and then they're good to go. So
that's really interesting. I can totally see that, right? I mean, is the field of therapy adopting? Where is therapy going? I mean, where how different every field has like what's the latest ideas that are what's happening in therapy that's changing. I mean, where's therapy at?
Well, I know this isn't a super new idea, but I hear a lot about it. It's a really big idea or big therapy technique. It's called EMDR.
Okay, we chatted about that. What is that? It's
so cool. It stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. Okay. And so basically takes the concept of when you're in REM sleep and your eyes are rapidly moving, that you're processing through emotions, and now they found ways to stimulate your eye movement or to stimulate your body, like your bilaterally. So sometimes you'll be holding two kind of like little vibratey things that go bzz, 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 bzz. Or for kids sometimes it's like tapping their arms, or you can tap on their knees, and it seems like it's like hoodoo voodoo magical stuff.
Simplistic,
kind of, but it sounds real simplistic. I mean, there's a process. You don't just do that. You kind of conjure up the memory of your past trauma or something that is really kind of stuck, and it reprocesses it, and it's amazing.
So this technique works, and these things work.
It works and works and works, and they're using it all over. It's
I haven't heard of
highly
that
effective. It's so interesting.
Are you wearing goggles, like a VR type set, or
no?
What's stimulating your eye?
You don't. So sometimes they'll just do a finger movement like this to kind of make your eye, and you watch their fingers back and forth. There's light bars that have it's like a bar like this that a light goes back and forth, and you watch the light. But it doesn't have to be with eye movement. So they've kind of found that, yes, that is a bilateral stimulation to be looking back and forth, but it can just be physical, just be holding these two things. Okay,
so it's not, it doesn't have to be all of those things. It can be
one it's just one. Just one way to stimulate bilaterally.
What does it do? What does it do on the what's going on inside, like from the brain or the chemistry? So what's going on behind the scenes?
I don't know. I can't really speak. I'm not certified in it. I want to be. That's
new technique.
I'm sure the trainers can tell all about that. But basically, it's that it reprocesses.
So it's reprocesses.
Yeah, that's a good question. So the outcome seems to be that it's not that you're like hypnotizing someone or having them forget about the past trauma or the event or whatever. It's just that it loses the emotion. So with post-traumatic stress disorder, it's like the emotion is still as intense as it was when it happened last year or 10 years ago or 50 years ago. It's like the emotion is just kind of stuck in the body. It's stuck in the brain. And so with this technique, it it reprocesses it so that it's kind of putting it back in the right time period. So it puts that memory back in time where it belongs, right when it happened, and it's not bringing up the same arousal, like that same like tension level or the same symptoms like hypervigilance, nightmares, fear, startling, those things that can come with
so like
trauma.
It like severs that.
Like it puts it back in its appropriate place and time. It's really interesting.
It sounds awesome. I definitely have to look into that. But
yes,
it's so cool. This is a new technique that's evolving.
That's a well-used technique. It helps a lot of people. It's really interesting.
It's so fascinating to see how every field evolves, and that's why I was curious. Like, what's happening? What's the new innovations?
It's so different than typical talk therapy.
It sounds different from that.
You don't even have to talk when you're doing it, really. You just kind of, the therapist will tell you, kind of, there's some preparation work that you do to kind of help yourself feel grounded, and you kind of develop these resources of being okay and being able to calm your body and be comfortable kind of being in the presence of that memory. But then once you've kind of gone through all that, it's just, okay, think about this memory. You have to come up with a cognition that goes with that memory. So that cognition might be like, I'm a terrible person, it's my fault, I'm guilty of this. And after the process, after you go through it, the cognition might change a little and be like, okay, well, maybe I kind of understand why I was in that situation or what happened. And it's like the intensity of the emotion dies down. Yeah, it's so cool.
Right now you have to go to these trainings. Providers that are...
Yeah. And there's trainings. There's always trainings, and so.
But you get that tech or that what would you call it? Not technique. That treatment through a therapist. That's been trained in this. Yeah. It sounds really fascinating.
It's cool. Yeah, it is.
I think it sounds high tech, like technology and merging of
Yeah. At first, it's like the first time I heard about it, it's like, really? And that was like 10 years ago when I was in grad school is when I heard about it, and I did it with my... Oh, you got to experience... Yeah. Oh, okay. And it was like a real short, she said, something just small, if someone has something, like, who wants to volunteer? Of course, I want to volunteer. I want to try this out.
Did every hand go up in the place?
No.
And you're with a bunch of therapists, right?
Yeah, therapists in training.
The reluctant therapist. Yeah. Okay. So I did it, and it made a huge difference. Something.
Oh yeah, awesome. It was so interesting. It was just, it was like, okay, this seems really weird, but I'll give it a try. And it was really amazing.
And it's like, because we met at via the heartfulness meditation, and again, something seemingly, like what Joshua was talking about, seemingly very simple and almost like, and even he mentioned that, right? I thought it was so simple. It didn't. He said, "How could this work for me?" And I'm like, but it did, and it is that the simplest things are often very effective. Counterintuitive, because I think human beings, we want to like make things more complex and like 72 steps and like put the work in.
Sometimes it's as simple as stuff.
It is simple as stuff, and just like doing this some simple practice. To, because get over those emotions or do that. Yeah.
I think that's one of those other misconceptions too of therapy sometimes, is that it's going to be, real analytical, like Freudian. And there's all those like jokes about like, oh, it's a penis, everything's a penis, and it's like
it all comes back to that, right?
Yeah. And it's like, no, that's not. It's always your mother's fault. That's not typically how therapy goes. It's usually less complex, and it's more just. Yeah, I mean, I guess I shouldn't say it's less complex, because sometimes it is complex, but it's a lot.
That's where Hollywood comes in. Yeah. We Hollywood is really good at telling the story, and then of course we believe that this is how it is. But that's interesting. That's really interesting. Well, I know people are going to enjoy the podcast because there's just a lot of goodness there, and talking about helping people who are functioning at a fairly good level have more.
Right. You don't have to wait until things are miserable.
That's the thing, and we talked about that a little bit. The crisis mode, all hands on deck. The ship is
the engine has exploded.
The engine has exploded. Let's find a new engine. It's so much easier to do maintenance.
Right. Yeah. And why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we take care of ourselves and take care? I mean, we take care of our bodies. We we hopefully are doing maintenance on our bodies all the time. We're taking showers. We're maintaining. We're eating well.
It just seems like because we can't see the mind or the psychology of it. It's like you see the body, it's more tangible. But like these behind the scenes things, like the things we're thinking, the beliefs, and they're just so hard to get a handle on sometimes.
Yeah, and if we're not looking at it, or if we don't, I think. If our bodies are out of sync, the more we're in tune with how the foods we're eating affects our bodies, the more likely we are to go, oh, my digestion feels a little off. Right. I guess I need to change what I'm eating. But if we don't have any awareness, we're like going through life and with IBS, we don't even notice it.
I've read stories about that. People who have been living years and years, and then they find something that was not right with their body and a little tweak, and they're like, I didn't know how healthy I could feel.
Right, exactly. Oh my gosh, and apply that to therapy, where it's like, if we have the awareness of, something's a little bit off, I'm just kind of feeling a little more emotional, or I'm just a little irritable lately. What's going on? Oh, maybe I just need a little tune-up, and then, I can take care of it. Gosh, that would make things so much simpler than living all these years eating that one food you're allergic to.
That's the thing, right? That's so awesome. Where do you think therapy's going in the future? I mean, as far as like accessibility to people.
I think it is moving in the direction of. I think it's moving in the direction of. Kind of it just being more out in the open, more and more celebrities and just. People are talking about it. Yeah, they're talking about mental health. Like Britney Spears recently talked about going in for some sort of treatment, and the reaction from people now was, good for her. You take care of yourself, girl. Like, thank you for being honest with us and being open and vulnerable, versus in 2008 when she had that
negative stigma to it.
Yeah, and people just made fun of her, and she was the butt of a joke. And it's like, that's such a good sign, I think, of that's how we should treat mental health is, good for you, girl. Go take care of your mental health. Why wouldn't you? You're going to take care of your physical health.
That's awesome, because you're right. There's some people in the world are going to shoot some daggers. But I always think about people like Terry Bradshaw and some of those other tough NFL or sports figures that are like, hey, I'm struggling with this and this and this. Yes. And I win. And I think they legitimize, I don't want to say legitimize, that's a bad word. I think they make it okay for other men or whatever to go there.
I agree.
Which is huge, trailblazers.
Right, because I think that's a whole other arena too, is like the stigma attached to men in particular of, women have generally been
push it,
exactly. So you see these big strong men, these athletes who we can put on this pedestal, and to say, I'm a tough guy, I'm super strong, and I'm an amazing person, and I also need to go take care of my mental health. Right. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. Those things coexist.
Are you seeing more, just as a general trend, I guess, in the industry of therapy, or the of men coming in more and more? I mean, is that trend, that group rising, that trend rising?
I have had a lot of men, a lot of younger men. There'll be days where I think, I am seeing only men today.
Really?
That's something that seems to be newer, and I'm so happy for it, because we all need to be supporting each other. Men and women need to be there for each other and learning how to take care of ourselves and take responsibility for ourselves. And it's like, I think it helps everyone, for all of us to do it.
I think it does too, because we're all connected and we're all living on the same planet, and when one person heals themselves, boom, it's going to affect on some level everyone else.
And to think that emotions are a woman thing or a man thing, or anger is a man thing and not a woman thing, or it's like women have the same stigma in a different arena about what emotions they're allowed to have. That's and men, what emotions men are allowed to have, and to kind of normalize all of it.
If everyone gets a little bit of negative, no one gets off scot-free as far as having the ability to kind of fix themselves or do the work or whatever.
So I think it's wonderful when men and women and couples and families can come in and say, I want to feel better. I want to be better for my family. I want to be better for my partner. I want to be better for myself.
It seems like it takes a lot of courage too.
It does. I think it does take a lot of courage. I think it's a really strong, kind of badass thing to do, to go take care of it.
I love that. Yeah.